up! Wake up! Come on, it's Christmas! Merry Christmas, Erie! Wake up! Oh boy, this isn't exactly how I planned my day. Haven't had enough of racing. How about hardcore 4x4? This actually looks like it might be fun, but I don't know about this one.
Alright, this has to be decent, right? I mean, how can you mess up a racing game with monster trucks? I mean, how? When did this come out? 96. Maybe they understood how to use the PlayStation hardware. Maybe they didn't. We're going to find out. Gremlin Interactive. It sounds slightly familiar, but I can't put my hand on anything they developed. Except this one. Come on. Let this be decent. Okay. Start and options. Wow, you're not giving me very many choices here, are you? Got this little bit of a pre-rendered, not pre-rendered, but sort of full motion video thing going on in the background, and the resolution is absolutely potato-tastic. Options. What kind of options I got? At least if I feel like adjusting the steering, commentary, you can turn that on and off in case it annoys you. I want to leave it on because it might be funny. You know what I always like? I like games where you can turn the music off and put your own. But I'm not going to do that. At least not for this. At least not for this goings on. So we're going to go ahead and exit. I love how you just have start. Okay. Okay, so you get all these options. Oh, you can save data. You can select. Oh, interesting. You can select the weather going on at the time. Let's do it at night. Novice, yeah, leave it at novice. Let's stick with the easiest. Let's go with the easiest thing here. Yeah, I'm going to leave it on automatic because that's just the way it is. You got a pretty decent amount of trucks to choose from. I mean, for the time. I mean, granted, you probably paid like $40 for this when this first came out. Single race, championship, time trial, all your basic stuff, with one exception. With one exception. There's no two-player. Why is there no two-player? Yeah, it's a racing game with only one player. A racing game that's only one player. And this isn't like a Need for Speed game like we have nowadays that have like complex storylines and stuff. It's just a racing game. Just a plain throw it in your console and race type of game. And it's not two-player. These games are the most fun at two-player. Oh, and that frame rate. It looks like it runs a barely 30 frames. And that draw distance is absolute crap. But at least... Whoa, and the control is not that great either. You're like bouncing all over the place. Which I guess that's what you kind of want from a monster truck. But I'm just getting thrown all over the place. And I feel like I've barely got control over this truck. It kind of goes to 60. Just slightly. I don't know. At least I'm in second place. They're bouncing all over the place. Like, this actually would have been an okay game, but it just isn't. And it does all these little tricks, like, you know how there's all these turns and stuff? They're trying to mask the fact that the draw distance is so poor. I mean, these textures don't look that complex, and the resolution's really low. And these little dust effects don't look that demanding. It's an early release on the PlayStation, so I've got to cut it a little bit of slack, but come on. It's almost like they didn't even try. At least with it, you know, at night, you can, me having selected the weather to be nighttime, even though nighttime is not weather, but if I didn't select that condition, this would look even more dumb. I'll show you that after this race, which I'm still in 4th. And because the cars bounce against each other so much, it's difficult to maintain. It's difficult to get ahead, not maintain. It's difficult to get ahead of your opponents. Oh, come on! Ugh. Whoa, I can almost get ahead of these guys. Almost. Oh, yeah. There we go. There we go. I'm in first. I'm in first, suckers. I wish I had some power-ups I could use on you to... Oh, no! No! I bounced all around and now I'm back in 3rd place. Oh, no. No! Wow. Well, they've invented a way to mess up a racing game. Yeah, they kinda did. And the thing is, this is actually a really cool premise. Out of all of these, this is the one that I expected to have the most promise. That and the last one. But both of them are just... They've just... Ugh. They're just flawed in ways that it's just kind of... Really? You know? Although I imagine some people were pretty excited to play this at the time. Because this did... I imagine when this first came out, it did look kind of cool. I wish I could see more of the map I'm driving on, though. But the draw distance and the compensation for said draw distance. Oh, I'm in first. I just now noticed. I wasn't even paying attention. That's how little I care. That's how unengaging this is. I feel like I'm bouncing around and fighting the control just to drive. And the frame rate is erratic. Oh, see, I'm kind of getting the 60 frames going here almost. As long as I'm just driving straight and there's not too much going on in the scenery and there's no one behind me, or directly behind me I should say, then the frame rate's actually kind of decently 60. But at the same time, it just keeps fluctuating. I would have rather had a locked 30 frames per second as long as I can actually play it. But with these older games, they really needed to be at 60 frames per second or it's difficult to see what you're doing or the control wouldn't feel right. Difficult to describe for people who haven't actually looked into these types of things, but yeah, if this ran at a steady 60 frames per second, like their last game, it probably would have been alright. But at least I won. Hey, I won one at one of these games. That's nice. But I really feel like I should be playing a better racing game. Now I'm going to turn the lights back on. I have won. Oh, I can hit X to proceed. Or triangle to proceed. Why is it giving me two options? I'm going to hit triangle because I'm a rebel. Proceed. Okay. Nighttime's severe. That's interesting. So you can do it in bad weather. Okay. That starts the game. Single race. So this, you got to select the gameplay mode before you select start. So those keys is start. In case you didn't already know. But I'm going to change my car too. This has better traction, so... But it's got really bad suspension, so... We'll see how badly I bounce around now.
If you want to prove you got a tough truck, this is the place you want to do it. Time to go for the gold in these canyons.
Time for you to shut your face. Okay. Okay, this traction definitely helps. But yeah, I'm bouncing every which way. Yeah, it's difficult to describe unless you actually are playing it, but the combination of the frame rate and the bounciness of the controls here really makes you feel like you don't have as much control over your vehicle as you should. So a lot of this has to do with compensating for problems. This whole game could have just been compensating for problems 4x4. Whoa! Snap! Monkeys on a Ferris wheel! Get out of my face right now, fool! You don't want these problems. You want some problems? I'll give you some problems. Yeah, believe me, he'll give you some problems. I got plenty to spare. I'm actually trying really hard to get ahead, but all these bouncy areas. I gotta say, the animations on the trucks are actually pretty nice. And the graphics are actually kind of decent for the time, too. I mean, they're trying to pull a realistic style, but artistically, they kind of make it work. It's not hideous like Strike Point. It works. It looks okay. And the animations are actually really cool to look at. And the physics are actually pretty nice for the time, to be honest. So, there are some things going for this game, but it just doesn't play very well because you really feel like you're fighting your controller to move straight. I'd rather play something like this with analog control, because then it would be a little bit better, and something that could render better draw distances, so that I don't feel like I'm bouncing against walls constantly. Man, you're getting all technical this time around. Oh yeah, why not? That's what I feel like talking about. I don't know what he said, but he can shut up right now. I guess that's why he can turn the commentary off. Oh, come on now. I am way behind. I don't know where I am. I mean, imagine going to a haunted house. This is what it feels like, because you're getting pushed around. Going down these narrow corridors, and you're just getting bounced around all over the place. Come on, where's the brake? There we go. Woo! So this would almost be fun if the maps weren't as lame and you felt like you had better control of your vehicle. Final lap and I'm in 6th place. That's always fun. So glad I'm doing this. Thanks, Candy Bones. Thanks a lot. You're welcome! Wait. I don't like that look you're giving me. You shouldn't. You really shouldn't. Jeez, this is just tedious. And you know what? This would almost be fun if it was 2 players, but it's not. Why is there not a 2-player option here? This is just so lame. It's like you got a driving game that's not split screen, and that would have been this game's only saving grace. Because if you had people over, it might be fun to laugh at. But you can only play it one person at a time and pass the controller around. So the only way to do this is by passing around the misery. Ugh. Man. Although I do think, the car getting beat up and chipped is actually a really nice touch. You can tell where that's where a lot of the budget went for this. Because your car does get dented, and it does chip, and you got pieces that fly off. You have finished 5th. And you know what also I've finished?
Now, the moment everyone's been waiting for. Razor Scooter Freestyle. Or Freestyle Scooter, whatever. It's like Tony Hawk, but on a freaking little scooter. Yeah.
Oh no, Crave. I don't know how that company is still around, but they somehow still are, I think. I don't even know who Shaba Games is. Thankfully, they did make a point to say this. get this little barely animated cutscene. A crazed robot has taken your friends. Can you complete his challenges to save them? Wow, you can tell how much effort was put into that. Unlike the amount of effort you put into filming your show. Alright, there is actually a licensed soundtrack to this game, so I'm going to actually mute it and play my own music here in a second. Options. Don't you really like that, don't you really like this menu music here? It's just perfect for people who like annoying, repetitive synth bass. Alright. Let's go. Take that long for you to save that? Come on now. Player 1 circuit. And you get to choose between this guy or her. I usually prefer her. So. It doesn't matter. You can choose what color scooter. There's nothing about the scooter that's any different or interesting. You just get to choose the color. You know, it's also inconsequential. So the Extreme 2 and Extreme 3, they gave you options that actually kind of mattered. This one just does not care. Choose a level. I'm just going to go with the first one, whatever. It doesn't necessarily... It just loads without telling you that your selection was confirmed. It's like, did I do it? Okay, well, it's loading, so apparently I did. Very cheap. It was just a great big promotional item for Razor scooters, which were all the rage in the late 90s and early 2000s. Are you okay? You gotta finish loading? You can do it, I believe in you. Okay. Let's try this. Oh, never mind. Alright, here we go. See, it actually runs at a playable frame rate. It's not perfect, but it does work. And overall, I mean, if you played Tony Hawk before, you kind of know what to expect. It's effectively just a poor man's Tony Hawk. And, kind of more like Tony Hawk, but for younger kids, I guess. I mean, not that 8-year-olds can't play Tony Hawk, but I mean, it was more geared at the teen crowd. Yeah, it's really responsive, and for shovelware, you actually got some quality here. And this also came out in the year 2000, so I'm just kind of mashing buttons. I mean, if you played games where you do tricks, then you kind of already know. You do the tricks, make sure you land them, and you're good. Otherwise, you wipe out like I just did. And it's pretty simple. That's all there is to it. This game should support analog control, so I'm going to use analog control this time. Woo-hoo. This is actually not too bad. Well, I guess I finally got to the tasty part of this episode, where I get to play something that's not entirely a waste of time, even though it is still a waste of time. You collect those, I guess they just give you points. I think something happens if you collect them all. I don't know. I don't particularly care. But yeah, it's actually isn't too bad, but it's really, really simple. You don't get to see the robot as far as I know, except for that cutscene. But if you call it a cutscene. And so it's not, you don't get to go do battle with the robot or anything. You just gotta You just gotta do tricks, get points, and you only have a very short amount of stages. It's not terrible, but there's nothing really here. Points results. So you have to land like 23 tricks and get 19 combos. Oh, I did clear the level because I got enough points to clear the level. Okay. And it doesn't take you to the next level. You get to select the next level. So you can play all the levels without having actually... Yeah. Level clear. You start off with 2 levels, so I guess I gotta beat this one in order to see the rest of them. My guess. Because I'm pretty sure there's not only 2 stages in this whole game, right? There can't be. That'd be low even for this game. I haven't played this stage yet. It's kind of nice. Kind of cool looking. Somebody graffitied the robot taking the kids. That's funky. What's this, Like, what is that? Like, what's that supposed to be? What is that? It controls okay, to be honest. I mean, like I said, you play Tony Hawk, you kind of know what to expect. Whee! Yeah, this isn't too bad, actually. All things considered. I don't have much to say, though. Although, collision detection kind of got me messed up there. What is that? Go Dogs. Was that a gang? Is that a gang? The dogs? You gotta watch out for the dogs. But I like dogs. No, I mean the gang, the dogs. They'll cut your ear off. Why? Because you know something they don't want you to know. They found out you've been playing this game. And they're gonna tell everybody that you played a little kid's game, which isn't a real Tony Hawk game. And they're gonna cut your ear off. Because that makes sense. What's with this, What's with thumbs like, Wee! Let's see if I can... Yeah. A lot of times I just mash and come up with stuff. And I fall down. Whee! Alright. Press X to continue, even though it doesn't properly fit the screen. Well, I didn't beat it. And you know what? I think that's a wrap.
Thank you all for joining us this year for our first Christmas episode of When Games Happen. Don't let nihilism ruin your holiday, whatever it is you represent. Have a very merry whatever it is you celebrate.
And that's what happens when games happen.
And a Merry Christmas to you, Candy Bones.
Merry Christmas anyway, it happens every year. So keep walking,